Alright, folks, and welcome back to the channel. We're here to discuss Celtic's late win at Rugby Park as we come back from 2 goals down to win the game 3-2. I don't really know where to start with that game today, boys. I mean, Liam, it's just, I've always said about a Celtic team having a lack of fight in it and not being able to show that fight, but I'll be fair to them today. They did show some sort of fight back to obviously come back and win the game.
Aye, well, that's one thing that you can't accuse this team of, is probably a lack of fight, a lack of ability. Yes, but lack of fight. No, they've showed that over the last, 3 games now? They've scored more or less last-minute winners, or, I know the Dundee was to equalise, but then you eventually go through, which is a pivotal goal. But I'm knackered, actually, for that. I'm just so tired for the kind of ups and downs of the full game. So I'm just kind of glad and a bit relieved that we got the 3 points, and I'm glad to be back on as well.
I know, I forgot to mention
welcome back, William.
Liam is back. He's back.
I am back. Yeah.
He's had more comebacks than Liam Gallagher.
You got that one right, Alistair. Well done.
But Alistair, I mean, it was the same against Livingston during the week. I mean, the performance is a separate video in itself, to be honest with you, because especially in that kind of first half, the performance was absolutely pathetic. If I'm being honest with you, it was. I wasn't pathetic a Celtic team in that first half of that performance. But then the second half, Martin was, I think, put a rock up their arse, to be honest with you.
Yeah, I can just imagine. I think he would have had them up against boys. I genuinely do. Because maybe no, but I know I would have, because the first half was just, it was insipid. It was like no heart. There was nothing even to cling to in the first half, and the goals were lost. It was just, I mean, I don't know. I really don't know how easy it would be to play through in the first half. Every time Kilmarnock went wide, you felt it. Here we go again.
The midfield was non-existent in the first half. Like, you could run 2 or 3 buses through it. Honestly, it was bad. But I'm trying not to focus on too much performance today's video, because we've just beat a team 3-2 in the last minute, so we can at least enjoy it a bit. But Liam, the second half, we bring on, we make changes which you expect. I think it was like 3 changes that come on.
Aye.
Chamberlain, Tanecki and Kevin Cara come on, and especially Tanecki kind of sparked us into life of it, because in the first half with Maeda and Yang, Maeda didn't really do much, as what we've come to expect. Yang was pretty non-effective, but then Tanecki, we seem to have an outball on that left-hand side, and we were giving Kilmarnock something to think about.
Aye, what Tanecki is really good at, he's good at ball carrying. As you said, he's a bit of an outlet. He's great at taking players on as well, and he's actually starting to score goals, and I think, 2 or 3 assists over the last few games as well, so he's really come on to a game. I think Yang was, you described it perfectly, he was just ineffective. He did try, he's always got plenty of enthusiasm, plenty of energy, but it just didn't come off for him today. But I think Maeda, he needs time on the bench for a couple of weeks. I think he, alongside Tatati, we will probably come on to him later, but I think Maeda definitely needs time out. He's kind of ran his race at Celtic, if I'm completely honest, and he's maybe best coming on as some sort of impact player, if that's even possible. His work rate is, I don't know if you can ever really question his work rate. He's closing down and stuff like that. I don't think you can ever question that, but when the ability is so lacking at the moment, it's such a standout, because I said this before the pod, his first touch is like something that you would see in the park. It is honestly horrendous. So, as I said, he needs time. He needs time on the bench, and I think Tanecki has to start going forward.
Aye, Alistair, Sebastian Tanecki, I've never really doubted he's got ability. It's clear to see. It's just when he gets to that final third of the pitch, what is he going to do with the ball? But what I have noticed is it's starting to become a lot more positive. He's no booting the ball at the park. You're getting it the odd occasion, but he's starting to really contribute to the team, and that's what we need.
The parallels with Nicholas Kuhn when he came in the January a couple of seasons ago. I mean, Taneke he's a box of tricks, but if you're starting to see why we spent the money, you really are starting to see it. But he just needs to be consistent. And as I say, it kind of reminds me a bit of Kuhn. The way he started, everybody says, no, through about this signing. And then once he settled, you started to see a bit of the personality. And by the way, that's one of my favourite goals of the season. Tonight, what a strike.
Because if he doesn't score that, I mean, Celtic lose that game 2-0 in my opinion. We needed that to try and at least get a battle, because Celtic won I think Steve Clark said it after the game, Celtic needed something like that to kind of spur us into life with it. But I think Taneke as well, I think he's been quite open and says that he should be contributing. I think it's important that a player recognises that. I think Taneke's also learnt, slowly learning that, you can, it's not all about the flicks and tricks at Celtic, it's what your output is. And, at the start of the season, his output was probably non-existent at times, but he's also, I think, spoke about how the coaches have helped him. We always say that Gavin Strachan doesn't do it in his club, right? But I think Gavin Strachan and Mark Fordring have helped him.
I was going to say, I think it's Fords.
I think the two of them have really helped him to try and obviously work on that attacking, and to be fair, it's working. Oxlade-Chamberlain, Liam, I mean, I was annoyed he didn't start the game. I personally thought that maybe Martin O'Neill get the team wrong. And I know people might say about his fitness and stuff, but I'm of the kind of vintage we're in a title race, we need all the help we can get, and Oxlade-Chamberlain's just come back off. He scored a goal at midweek to win the game, so I would have put him in. But when he came on the park, whenever he's panicking and losing their shit, he's shown that experience of how he's been at the top level, and he's the calm one. He's no booting balls at the park. He's showing the calm presence that we hope we get when we come up here.
That's what quality brings you, Josh. I think, before the game, I can see why he didn't start, and then as soon as I could see Atate's performance, it made me think, no, O'Neill has got it wrong. And O'Neill, obviously St. Martin and stuff like that he gets called, and for good reason, but he's not immune to criticism. And today, for me, I think you agree as well, Josh, he definitely did get it wrong with Hatate. I didn't really see why he would start anyway. I don't really understand that. I would even have put Luke McCowan, or even saying this, even Bernardo ahead of him. I just don't understand where he's getting the game time from. But as soon as the Ox came on, as you said, he plays in slow motion a wee bit, but I just think he sees everything maybe 2-3 steps ahead, a wee bit like a snooker player. You just get that quality and that that football brain that we're really lacking in that midfield. I think that midfield is our weakest area at the moment. You could argue and say maybe Scales and Trusty are equally as bad sometimes, but I generally think the midfield is, as you said earlier, you could drive 2 buses through it. There's just no communication and no, I don't know, just a lack of...
There's a lack of legs, I would say.
Particularly McGregor's legs, by the way. I feel as if they are potentially on the way out, I'm afraid. But I totally agree with you. I think, in hindsight, I think the Ox should have started, to be honest.
I mean, Alistair, Arne Engels obviously he's got about until after the March international break. We kind of length injury. They picked up against Livingston. That is obviously a big blow to a position.
I would say, Josh, it could have been worse. I mean, we said in the preview, or you didn't think Arne Engels would play again.
I thought it could have been season ending. Just the way it went down and stuff. But at least, when Engels get out, I mean, Alex Oxlade-Chamberlain needs to be in the Celtic midfield now. There's no excuse. especially who's getting ahead of him. I don't understand it. I don't, and I get the whole legs argument. At the end of the day, he's been training with Arsenal. I know match training, but we're not talking about somebody like a Kelechi Iheanacho who's not been training and not been keeping fit. Alex Oxlade-Chamberlain's relatively been keeping fit since he stopped playing for Besiktas. So I'm at the point where I'm just like, he needs to be in, because the other options that we've got there, they're not performing. And so there's no, for me, Oxlade-Chamberlain needs to be in that team. And I get you need to rotate, I get that, but the big games, and I'm talking about domestic games, he needs to be in there.
I'll tell you the best midfield, in my opinion, at the moment. Arnie Engels, Cal McGregor, and Alex Oxlade-Chamberlain.
Benjamin Negan has to be in there. Can he take the goals out of the team?
Fun.
Right.
They have half the fun.
Right.
It's just me.
I just look at, I don't know, maybe it's just me, but I just look at the options that he's getting played ahead of him. Bernardo's had chances, he's not took them. Hatate's getting played and just unfortunately having the same conversation. I don't want to think I'm coming on here and just slating Hatate every week, but he's no gain his anything to like say, "Oh, you done well the day," or whatever. I don't have many chances, he's going to get to prove himself before, as you said earlier on, Liam, Hangme's a spell on the bench.
I'm sick of the sight of him, and I hate saying that about anybody, because then it becomes kind of personal, and I hate going down that route of being personal with players, because they do. He's gave us great moments over the years, against Rangers, and just some of his performances have been outstanding. Because I think what the frustration is, we know the ability's there with Hatate, and it's when he's churning out performances like that, I think that's what makes it even more frustrating, because we've seen the glory days, as if you want to put it. But it's so far away from that at the moment. He's doing everything wrong. I think his decision making is just out the window. He's playing long balls when he should just be playing it in field again to keep possession. He's giving it away easy. He's got no spatial awareness at all. It's as if he can't hear anybody behind him, or he can't feel them. He's miles and miles off it for the Rio that we know. And I think everyone's just got to the stage. It's like the hero stays too long and becomes the villain, or whatever the saying is, isn't it? He's just stayed that tad too long, and unfortunately, I think his Celtic career is over.
I think that's an important point, Alistair. And I always remember Ange Postecoglou saying years ago that you can, a players get, a kind of set period at a football club before he could potentially get sick of it. And I think, unfortunately, with Maeda and Hatate, that's where we're at. And that's partially the club's fault, but at the end of the day, you've still got a contract at this football club. You still try, and it's getting to the point with Hatate where I just don't think he's just, it doesn't look like he's even trying to me.
Could it be, and I'm just throwing this idea out here, could it be they suited Ange Postecoglou's style? Because he could argue that the best fit, but I know Maeda scored a lot of goals last year, but the best fit for they two played was under Ange. Ange isn't here anymore, and I don't think he's coming back. So,
just to your point there, I actually think Kyogo suffered under kind of Rodgers' style. I think there was a slight change in the style, so you could be right there, aye.
But I think the thing with Kyogo is Kyogo still tried.
Yep.
Kyogo still scored goals for Celtic, and
big goals and all.
Maeda, even under Rodgers' style, was still, as you said, Alistair, was still scoring goals. I think it's under Ange Postecoglou. You look when they were brought in, it was their first 2 seasons, so they still had a lot to prove at Celtic. Win cups and play the Champions League, stuff like that. They've not got that anymore, and them as a person will probably want to move on to something else. Obviously we know Maeda did. I'm assuming Hatate would probably want to as well. I think
Hatate's wanted to move, and I'm not exaggerating here, for the last 3 seasons.
I think with Real Hatate, I think he's seen himself as, we always talk about the next big sale for Celtic. I think he's, especially after maybe, I don't know, when we sold Matt O'Reilly, right, I'm the next one here.
Aye.
and it's
definitely.
no panned out like that. And I think he's at the point where, like, I just want to. I don't care where it is. I just want to move. To be honest,
definitely, mate. And I do think we have stopped playing. I think they've just lost the hunger. And I hate accusing players of that,
but naturally that's going to happen. That's not a negative. Sometimes naturally, unfortunately, that's just going to happen. You know, it's the same in normal. It's the same in normal life. If you're at the same job for years and years and you're starting to get sick of it, you want to move job. It's just to say, and that's when maybe I'll cut them a bit of criticism because I understand where they're probably coming from, but at the same time, they still should be trying. They're still under contract, in my opinion.
It's a catch-22. I think both can be true, to be honest with you. And I think that's just the scenario where both are true, and just time's up, to be completely honest. And it's unfortunate we kind of need them because the squad isn't great as it is. So that's the predicament that the board has put us in, though. So that is what it
is. Obviously, there's been a lot of talk about, probably going to be a lot of talk about best 11s going after this game. I mean, in terms of, especially, you've already touched on how with the midfield. In terms of the front line, I mean, who would Adamu obviously get a run out? I don't think he was pretty non-existent. I don't think there was much. I think it's hard in that first half to blame individuals because I just think as a team, the players were crap, if I'm being honest with you. And if they didn't turn it around in the second half, we're coming on here talking very differently and probably saying all this, the kind of saying what we've been saying all season about the lack of, technical ability and stuff like that. But what would you say is, in terms of like the front line, our best kind of chance at getting goals and whatever?
What I would do would be this. I would go to Neki and I would going to contradict myself and go Maeda because I'm totally unsure with Yang. I don't, at least Maeda, more often than not, I'll at least put the work rate in. Yang just annoys the hell out of me.
Sorry, but in my opinion, it's with Maeda. I think it's alright putting the work rate in, but his end product's absolutely deplorable.
So is Yang, so.
But Yang scored goals this season, and I think you need to admit with Yang. I'm sorry, and I like Maeda and stuff, but I agree with Liam on it. Maeda needs weeks on the bench. Yang's not much. I can understand isn't much better at time, but Yang will at least try.
Well, do you say Forrest then?
I'd say Yang. Yang is still in our best front three at the moment, because he might have not had a great game of the day, but at least he's shown flashes of what Maeda and even Forrest. Forrest was actually no bad today, but I still think, the fact you're relying on is, 34-year-old?
Mm-hmm.
I know.
To bail you, I mean...
There's no a perfect front three, that's how we're mistake.
It's dysfunctional. It's
a tricky question, to be honest.
Because then it's like, you look, we signed Mavuka on loan, where is he?
I don't think you'll see him again.
What was the point? What was the point? We literally signed him on deadline date on the 2nd of February. We're on the 15th and we're having these conversations already.
The point,
I mean, what the fuck?
The point, I think, was to say we're both in the right one.
No, that was the point. It was to say we done something.
You can't judge anybody after whatever he had 45 minutes, but he was fucking hopeless, man.
He's not even on the park to judge.
Stevens, to be honest.
Like, he's not even on a bench, or he's not even on. He's not even on a bench, and he's literally out the squad.
Aye, it's bizarre. It really is.
It's really bizarre. In terms of
that, Martin and Hughes went, excuse my language, who the fuck recommended him?
Well, I said that, like, the club contradicted themselves, right? They contradicted themselves because when they signed Mavuka, right, they said, well, no, the Wilfred Nancy kind of signing book and the Paul Tisdale signing book has been put in the bin. See, if you go into his appearances on transfer mark, most of his appearances have came at right wing back. Wonder why that is. Who played that right wing back system?
I know.
You know, actually, I done that Google search. Like, was just after we signed them, and I looked at when it was. He played a lot of times at right wing back.
Do you know what the scary thing? They were going to pay £3 million for the guy.
I know. Fucking incredible, man.
That never happened.
In terms of the centre forward, I mean, going forward for me, Kevin Carron is Israel centre forward at the moment. I was talking about before we go on here. I'd like to see one of them say, "No, I'm going to take this number 9 jersey."
I think Big Tam will end up with it. There's something about him I actually like. I think he did well for the third goal and stuff. I actually think there's a player there. He's a wee bit frustrating at the moment. He's like a mixture between Adam Ida and Chris Sutton for me at the moment. He's got that bit of pace. He's a bit of a target man. I know he's not meant to be a target man. But
sorry, Liam. He's kind of like Mark Viduka when you play the ball at his feet.
Not as good as Viduka, right enough, but he was. I know what you're saying. He is listening. He's got that turn of pace, particularly for a big fella. Know what I mean? But I don't really know what Adamu gives you. I'm struggling to think what he actually did today. I can't even think of one thing. I'll be honest.
I'll be honest on Adamu, Liam. I've kind of watched him over the last 3 games and thought, don't really see what you're bringing.
No.
Don't. I know he had a wonderful flick, but really, he doesn't get involved in the play. I mean, Martin O'Neill had to tell him to go into the box at Dundee.
I remember that him shouting on
him. You're like, a striker shouldn't need to be told to get your arse into the box. That's
particularly get in the box. I know, fucking hell. Where the fuck was he?
The one thing I don't want is that we're on the Kevin Carra bus, so to speak, the day, and then we play. I'm even just forgetting about the Stuttgart game, if you want my honest opinion. But we play in terms of league games. To be honest with you, we play Hibs, and Kevin Carra doesn't do much. Or maybe Adamu, we can't have that. We need somebody that's going to take that jersey and go, do you know what? This is mine. I'm going to be, a consistent performer, and I'm going to, make sure that I can get you the goals that you need to get you to this league title. I've seen signs with Kevin Carra that he's a good player, he's a really good holder, but I can't be bothered coming here every week after every game and saying, "Oh, Kevin Carra's great," and then he's rubbish, then he's great, then he's, you need consistency. So that's the only danger I'm looking at it and go, is it going to be that 1 week one striker's good, next week, you can't have that. We need somebody out and out who's going to be consistent.
Definitely.
I agree. Who knows? Because as we were saying earlier as well, Iheanacho, is he injured again? And
well, he wasn't even on the bench today, boys, was he?
Aye. So that would actually be good having him on the bench, just so you've got at least 3 pushing for that position and a wee bit more competition rather than just the 2. But I mean, that is what it is.
I'll be honest. See if Iheanacho is no involved next Sunday. I think you'll be lucky to see him again. Aye.
I actually think he's probably got the one with the most quality as well. He just get chocolate hamstrings and that. Just
terrible injury problems. Aye.
Yep.
I know. I don't know what's going. Because he just pops up on the bench every few games. You're like, oh, I need Naturals there, but I don't know. It seemed when we signed him as well, I was a bit like, we're signing a player, as you said, Liam Alistair, who's got these really bad injuries, which obviously isn't his fault. Hasn't really kept himself fit, if I'm being honest. At times, I don't know. I think that Kevin Carra will probably be a striker going forward, if you want my honest opinion. In terms of, obviously, the bigger picture, obviously the day was quite big because Hearts and Rangers were playing each other at Ibrox. Obviously, Rangers won the game 4-2, so that now means that Hearts' lead's been cut quite. I think it's 2 points between them and Rangers and 3 points between us and Hearts, I'm pretty sure.
Yep.
And no, it's 2 points in front of Rangers, Hearts are, and we are 3 points behind Hearts, but obviously we've got a game in hand.
I just
So
said that.
That's what you just
I just said that. You say years, man. Listen, man. I just said that. No, I missed it the game in hand bit, right? So I'm maybe.
So it's basically neck and neck, and
if we
Rangers
win,
Hearts have got the same goal difference, and we're 4 behind in terms of goal difference.
if we win, because as a Celtic team are showing, you can't guarantee a win against anybody in this league.
The only thing I would say, Josh, and I said this to you, Dan William, I said I would, if they were going to be a winner, I'm glad it was Rangers. And that might shock some people, but I think it was the best of 2 evils, to be honest with you.
Aye,
but no, I mean, would have been maybe
a draw would be better. I
totally get what you're saying, because it just means that we're one game away, one win away. Sorry, from Hearts, I suppose. So you can look at it different perspectives, isn't it?
Aye, but it is going to obviously it's quite open now. So, but what Celtic are going to need to do is Celtic are going to need to go on a run, and as I said, there's no guarantee that Celtic are going to beat any team in this league. Because you don't know what Celtic you're going to get. I kind of had to laugh because people were saying to me yesterday, "Oh, what would you want, Ibrox?" And I'm like, "We've got a game. We've got a game to play."
Oh yeah.
And you know, it was similar on Wednesday night. Is when what would you want at Fir Park, or you hope Motherwell? You know, like, we've got a game, and we've nearly ended up with egg in our face twice. So you need to just focus on Celtic, because you don't know what Celtic you're going to get. You don't know how they're going to perform, and you don't know how the results are going to go. There's no point talking about Hearts and Rangers. You know, I have a look.
Your own races,
exactly, and that's what Hearts and Rangers will be thinking as well. It's all pretty. Everything's kind of, they're all 3 teams are panning it kind of the same way. Obviously, I know we've got Rangers, in 2 weeks. 2 weeks, is it?
Aye, 2 weeks today. Aye.
So we just need. What we do need to do is try and build a consistent run where we're not relying on last minute winners to beat Livingston and Kilmarnock. It's great. Don't get me wrong. It's great. We've won the game and it's euphoric and whatever else. But I keep saying this: is it sustainable? I don't personally think so.
No, see if you had the chance before the game, somebody tell you that you would score last minute winners, so, 2-3 games in a row, you would bite their hand off for it. But see, like living it and enduring it, it is fucking horrendous. Do you know what I mean? It is honestly horrendous. In a way, it's no worth it. Looking back, it's fantastic. So you can't really.
Half-time the day was not fun. Half-time the day was not fun. I don't know what it was like for you two, but
Chris Boyd was smirking away in that, and then after the game, loving it, man. Loving it.
I know it was. But no, we've got the result, and that's obviously the main thing. And obviously move on to the kind of midweek game against Stuttgart on Thursday. Just before I go, before I wrap it up, man of matches, Liam, what about you?
I agree with the original one, or the TV one, or whatever, says Tenekti for me. Come on, change the game, cracking goal. But I agree with you, Josh. If it wasn't for his goal, I don't even see us scoring, if I'm honest. So he started the comeback. Sorry.
Alistair, what about yourself?
Yeah, unanimous, aye. It's got to be Tenekti. I mean, people will say Arojo, but I think you don't get the first one, you're kind of...
as Josh said, he was pissed the first half, I know.
Even Martin O'Neill said that. I don't know if you've watched the Celtic TV interview at the end. He goes like that, ask him about his first off, and he just starts laughing. It was poor like, in the first half, and it's probably the first time I've looked at him and go, like, you looked really poor. But as I said, the whole kind of team was poor in the first half, so it's hard to kind of pick in individuals. But to be fair to them, they made it up in the second half, and that's what I've asked for. But no, I'm going to wrap it up there for today's video, and we'll be back at some point through the week we build up to that game against Stuttgart. Until next time, we'll speak to you later. And hail, hail.
Hail,
Hail,
hail.
hail.